Now, some of you have been asking me, Jimmy Dick, what's up with all these meatless recipes you're doing lately? Well, I'm fat. So, my doctor suggested I make some changes. And I ignored him. But then I was watching one of these videos from the past, similar to this one, where I was watching myself use a knife and cut some things up. And I realized my fingers look like little sausages. I mean, who the hell gains weight in their fingers? This guy, evidently. So anyway, I'm just making a few changes. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not 100% vegan. I'm just trying to live my best life and eat some healthier options. But I'm not going to diet because diet has dye in it, and that's not what I'm about here. Nope. So I'm just trying to find things that are good, that you can eat, be totally satisfied with, and be good. Okay? Not be a diet tasting food. Now, what I did here was I diced up really fine, just a little bit of red onion, and that's going to be for our guacamole because everything's better with guac. Now we're going to roast a lot of vegetables here. And I'm here to tell you, the burrito is phenomenal. You saw the picture at the beginning. So I cut these kind of thicker. Why? Because when you roast onions, when the water goes out of it, it kind of disintegrates into nothing. It melts into a thin sheet of nothingness. And that's no good either. We want texture. We want flavor. Because that's what I'm about. So I'm just going to break these up and throw them on a sheet pan. Now I did line the sheet pan with parchment paper for a very good reason. One, cleanup is easier, and two, it prevents all these veggies from burning. If they touch that hot cookie sheet directly, they will burn. This is 1 can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas that I put in a sieve and rinsed all of that stuff off of. What's great about the chickpeas in here is that, like I said, it's all about texture. And when you bite into it, one of those chickpeas, it's almost like biting into ground beef. It doesn't taste like it, of course, but it gives you the sensation that you're eating something more substantive than just vegetables. So here we have 1 full green red pepper, and we're going to get the white stuff out because that's just bitterness. And again, that's not what I'm about. I'm not about bitterness. I'm about living your best life. So once I get all these cleaned up, I'm going to cut them into strips, and I'm going to throw them on that sheet with the rest of the good-looking veg. If you like this video so far, how about giving me a thumbs up? Also consider subscribing. Not all my videos are meat-free Mondays. I have tons of videos internationally from all over the world. Take a look. Click on my videos. Anyway, here we go. Green and red. It's Christmas. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to slice these into strips, and then we're going to throw them on the sheet pan. The next thing we're going to add is cauliflower. Now you could buy a head of cauliflower and do this all yourself, but I thought for the sake of convenience, I was going to do this. Now don't dump it on your pan because look what that was. That was nothing but core. It wasn't any of the floret part, which is, it doesn't cook good and it's just not right. So I'm going to break these, and look right there. Another piece of just the core. Throw it away. I'm going to break these up into smaller pieces because they roast better if they're smaller. They'll be soft and they'll be delicious. And cauliflower, if you're not a fan, when you roast it, especially after we flavor it, because, you know, all about the flavor, it takes on a brand new taste and it's just so good. So I'm going to continue to trim these down into bite-sized little pieces. Get rid of any of the stuff that doesn't look good, and I'll be right back with the next thing. I mean, look at that. Just break them off. They come apart so easily. Now, broccoli. We're going to kind of do the same thing, because sometimes broccoli, when it comes like this, it is convenient, but sometimes they have a lot of stalk on it, and we don't want that. So again, I'm just going to cut that off, and they break apart really easily into little florets. And I even did it with one hand. Did you see that? Very fancy, I might add. Very. So once I get this all done up right, then we're going to go on to our spice mix that we're going to pour over these veg before we roast them. So here we go. First ingredient, chili powder. There are no measurements here. It's all a matter of taste. If you didn't make enough, mix up some more and put it on. It's just that simple. This is ground turmeric. Cumin. Now I just use a little bit of cumin because cumin can be very strong and a little bit goes a long way. Paprika. What paprika is going to do, it brings a little smokiness to this dish. Very, very tasty. And of course, these are raw vegetables, so they're going to need some salt. So I probably did 1.5 tablespoons of salt. We're not done though. This is ground garlic. Again, ground garlic, a little goes a long way. These are red pepper flakes because we got to bring the heat. You got to bring it. Just take your little spoon, give it a mix-a-do, get it all stirred together nice, and let's start seasoning up our veg. Alright, so you're going to see my little oil thing here passing over the veg. It may look like I'm dumping a whole lot of oil on here, but trust me when I say it pours out at a snail's pace. So it's no more than, I bet you it's probably not even 2 tablespoons. But once I get that oil on there, I'm going to take my spoon and we're going to make it rain with spices. Check it out. Boom. Make it rain. And we're going to use every bit of those spices that I mixed together. Because this is a heaping cookie sheet full of vegetables. It's not going to be in a single layer, but don't worry. We're going to mix this together, and you're just going to push it down to flatten it out. But as this cooks in the oven, it's going to shrink up a little bit because some of that water is going to come out and evaporate. So here I am just giving it a mix. By the way, I have preheated my oven to 450 degrees. And for the first part of this baking, they're going to go in for 12 minutes. Just 12. So just flatten it out. Make sure you got it into an even layer. Not a single, but an even layer. And then we're going to throw these babies in the oven. And while they're baking, let's finish up our guac. So I peeled the the avocado, as you can see, removed the pit. I did it all with the camera on pause. Yeah, that's what I do. So I also added salt, garlic powder, a little bit of dried cilantro, and the onion, of course, and lime juice at the end. Now this is all going to get eaten right away. Otherwise, you could put the pit or the seed of the avocado in there, and that'll help prevent browning as well, like the lime juice does. But today, I only made a little bit. The avocados are very small. So it's been 12 minutes. Let's have a look at these veg as they come out of the oven. Booyah! Don't those look good? And you can see they've shrunk a little bit since they've released some of that moisture. So I'm just going to toss these around because I want everything to get that was on the bottom on top and everything on top to go on the bottom so that everything gets cooked evenly. It's just that simple. And again, once I'm done mixing everything around, then I'm just going to flatten it back out to a single, an even layer. Not a single, but an even layer. And we're going to throw these back in that 450 degree oven for an additional 7 minutes. So 19 total. Although I could have went 20, but 19 worked good. Because check it out, 7 minutes later. And what do we have? Beautymas. Check that out. Yum City. And you can see some more shrinkage is taking place. But everything is like cooked al dente perfect. It was so good. So let's look at this. Let's get our station ready and start making this burrito. First thing we're going to do is we're going to add some vegan refried beans. Now what's the difference between regular and vegan? It's not flavor, that's for sure, because they taste the same. The only difference is regular refried beans uses animal fat, the lard from animal fat, where vegan obviously doesn't. So now we're going to throw on top of that some brown rice. Brown rice is so good. It lasts in your belly a very long time. It has a little nutty texture to it. When you cook it, just remember it's like 1 cup rice, 2 cups water, and it takes longer to do. So now that I got that on there, I'm going to start loading up some veg. And this is, you can just go crazy all you want. Here's the beauty of when you're eating a plant-based diet. A lot of people, not a diet, a plant-based plan. You can eat as much as you want of most things. It's not like a diet where you can have a spoonful of this and a cup of that. These are vegetables. You can eat until you can't eat anymore, and it won't matter. It doesn't affect your plan at all. And you still lose weight. What? Yep. So these are some fresh tomatoes. They're just yellow salad tomatoes that I cut in half for freshness. And then I'm going to put on some salsa. The salsa is mild. You can use hot. It doesn't matter. Now, guacamole. Can I just have a moment of silence for guacamole? I use a lot of this because it replaces the creaminess of like sour cream that I would normally put in a burrito. So we're going to fold this baby up. Fold in the sides, fold it over, and then just like at Chipotle, you're just going to rake it back with that top one. And sure, it may not be pretty when it's all completely folded. Takes practice. But anyway, look at that. So good. Let's cut this baby in half and let me show you what's on the inside. This thing here, I barely ate the whole thing, and I have been stuffed to the gills for over an hour. Look at that. All the textures, all the goodness. I really hope you try it out. Check out these other videos for Meatless Mondays. Have a wonderful day.